Hello, welcome to First Steps, Caring for Community Archives. This is a Scottish Council and Archives initiative produced in conjunction with National Records of Scotland. My name is Peter Dickson. I work for National Records of Scotland as an archive conservator. This is our purpose-built conservation studio, and it is home to 9 fully trained professional conservators, including Conservation Manager Linda Ramsey. As a team, we display a remarkable and wide-ranging skill set. This is backed up by an extensive knowledge base which is continually updated through continuing professional development. This image illustrates some of the duties an archive conservator is responsible for. The skills and knowledge required to deliver on these responsibilities have been gained through years of education, training and experience. I say this in advance of a warning on the merits of online instructional videos. These days, almost any skill-based or technical process can be viewed through online video portals. Please be cautious. Apart from the physical vulnerability of archive collections, we must also consider the unintended consequences of interventive actions. It is important that good handling practice is observed. Do not eat or drink where archive documents are kept, consulted or repaired. Try to use a separate canteen facility. If space is limited, please tidy away any archive materials before breaking out the picnic hamper and, after eating, clean the area before resuming work on archive collections. Gloves, in particular white cotton gloves, are not necessary. Indeed, the reduced sensitivity and feel caused by the wearing of gloves is problematic for fragile archive collections. However, gloves must be worn when working on photographic material and avoid touching the emulsion side of the photograph. Handling of books. If you are using bookmarks, ensure that they are made from archival craft or manila, or at least be acid-free. Always use a book cushion, book support wedges or a book cradle to support the book at both front and back boards and at the spine. Do not place an open book face down on any surface. Do not force a book to open further than it naturally allows. Use only pencils when working near docks. Pagination is always best carried out using a 2B pencil. Give thought to where you choose to house your archive collection. A cool, dry, dark area is preferred. Attic spaces are subject to major temperature fluctuations throughout the day, so to be avoided. Also, basement spaces tend to be damp environments and again best avoided. Never house your collections on the floor, but at least use a pallet as primary protection from localised flooding. Choosing to ignore the previous advice can lead to a deeply unpleasant task. I should point out that this and the previous slide are not connected. Regardless of where you choose to house your collections, it is important to constantly monitor your store. I would recommend purchasing an inexpensive thermohygrometer for around £10. Choose one which records highs and lows. This feature shows up breaches in the limits of temperature and relative humidity. Of course, more complicated monitoring systems with all bells, whistles and alarms are available, but at increased cost. The limits I just mentioned are, for paper and membrane, maximum temperature 15 degrees centigrade at between 55 and 60% relative humidity. For photographic materials, a maximum temperature of 5 degrees centigrade at 20 to 35% relative humidity is what we should be aiming for. When the aforementioned environmental limits are exceeded, a variety of problems can show up. Ever-present mold spores will gain an appetite for organic material when temperature and relative humidity are above prescribed limits. Pests, especially insects, are attracted to degraded paper. Perhaps it tastes sweeter or is more instantly digestible. Good housekeeping is important. Regularly clean floors, windowsills, shelves and other horizontal surfaces which can hold dirt and dust. Periodically clear shelves of stock, clean the shelves, check for evidence of pests, and replace stock. Check hard to see and access areas of floor for evidence of pests. Get down your hands and knees and use a torch. It'd be surprising what you might find. A whole industry now supplies the cultural sector with a wide range of packaging solutions to suit everything from a photograph to a dinosaur bone. There is an important distinction to be made between archival materials and acid-free materials. Acid-free may contain lignin and other products of degradation introduced during the manufacturing process, while archival materials have an alkaline buffer and are wood and lignin-free. It is true that a shoebox is better than nothing in terms of packaging and protection, but please go for the best packaging solution you can afford. If you are using a shoebox, wrap individual bundles and documents in archival craft, and perhaps provide a liner for the box. Steel paper clips and staples which are prone to rust should be replaced with brass paper clips. Care should be taken when removing old paper clips to prevent personal injury and damage to documents. In terms of staples, straighten the bent over legs of staples before pulling the staple back through the paper. With paper clips, bend them apart before pulling them from the paper. Bundles which are tied up using random scraps of paper should be retied using an archival craft bundle wrapper, acid-free bundle slip for referencing, and tied with cotton tape. We use white cotton tape for bundles and brown for tying up loose boards and volumes. Polyester pockets, open on one or two sides, allow delicate and friable folios to be safely consulted. Check the condition of inks and pigments though before inserting into a polyester pocket, as the static charge generated can lift and hold on to these small particles. Rubber bands should be replaced with bundle wrapper and cotton tape. This slide shows the results of a massive reboxing exercise. You'll see here that we have used acid-free boxes. This made the whole exercise far more affordable and cost-effective. The acid-free boxes are of course lined with archival craft. The next 4 slides were not part of the original presentation. They were actually part of the workshop demonstration. They show how to make a cleaning shield and are pretty self-explanatory, but I'll talk you through it. We take a sheet of paper around A3 size, can be smaller, can be bigger, depending on what you're working on. Fold 2 sides up, between 60 and 100 millimeters high. The smaller the cleaning shield, the lower the wall, perhaps is to make it usable. Step 2, folding the back up to the same height as the previously folded sides, and you should be left with similar to the picture. This bit is a wee bit trickier, but you can see what's happening here. We pinch the corners together, which forces a sort of natural internal folded miter. Practice a few times, have a go. It's quite easy and satisfying to do. Once you get the hang of it, it means that you don't have to make any cuts in your shield, and it holds quite a firm corner. Okay, finally we use a pin, a paper clip or a crocodile clip to secure the corners, and your shield is now ready to use. The reason I've used a pin here, I prefer a crocodile clip, the reason I've used a pin is that we are on lockdown, I'm working from home and using whatever falls to hand. Take care when unfolding records. Look out for double folds at corners which will tear if not manipulated gently. Look out for weakened and friable areas, especially at the intersections between folds and where folds meet the edge of the folio. Once the folio is unfolded, gently flatten creases with a bone folder or Teflon folder, place between blotting paper and apply an even weight. Always refold documents at the original folds. Where a doc has been badly folded previously, identify the original lines and fold to those. The original fold lines can be identified in a number of ways. compare with a correctly folded item from the same bundle. Also, original fold lines can be identified because they are often sharper, grubbier, and weaker. Cleaning an archive document involves risk. It is an interventive process with various levels of risk. The cleaner you want the folio to be, the more risk is attached. Firstly, it's a good idea to make yourself a cleaning shield. This is basically just a small paper corral, if you like, to hold dirt and dust. Generally made from a single sheet of paper, at least A3 in size, but obviously the bigger the folio you're trying to clean, the bigger the shield will have to be. But a reasonable sized sheet of paper with the sides and the back folded up and the front open for you to work from. It will save a lot of dirt moving around the area that you happen to be cleaning in, so it's a very good idea. And the first method of cleaning is the least risky, and that is using a soft brush to gently remove loose dirt and dust from the document and into the cleaning shield. It is the least risky. It is also perhaps the least effective. The next step up is to use a chemical sponge eraser. This will remove a lot of grime, but do not use too large a piece of sponge, as the drag which is generated can easily tear a piece of paper. So I would recommend, once you've got hold of your chemical sponge, it'll be roughly half the size of a house brick, and it's easily cut with a pair of shears, so I would cut it into small triangles, maybe like an inch cube, cut into 2 triangles. Perfect. You won't create too much drag with that, and will minimise any damage through tearing and ripping. Next stage up is, in terms of risk and effectiveness, is a vinyl eraser. It's good for removing any stubborn marks that the brush and the sponge left behind, but again, take great care as even a small piece of this eraser will tear and rip, especially archive docs that are sort of weakened and friable. So be very careful with that. Now, a word on bundle integrity. Always strive to maintain bundle integrity. This means working through a bundle in such a way that the order of the docs remain intact. This is very important. So my advice is to find a systematic approach which works for you and stick to it. And please just remember that cleaning of archival docs is an interventive conservation technique, so please take great care and be patient with it. It's not quite as easy and simple as it may look. Please do not use the following devilish stuff: sellotape, gaffer tape, duct tape, masking tape. Any PST or pressure sensitive tapes are the tool of the devil when it comes to repairing any book, not just an archive volume. I've seen many paperbacks destroyed after having sellotape repairs appended to them. A lot of this is because, aside from the aggressive adhesives used, sellotape in particular is very acidic and will cause staining fairly soon after use. Rubber bands will perish, will off gas, will stick to and degrade documents. Non-archival plastic sleeves will off gas. These are quite popular when using ring binders and such, but I have seen them go quite icky. Quite sticky and slimy almost when they're left in attic spaces. They do not like hot, stuffy atmospheres, obviously. Sticky photo albums, off gases, and again we've got pressure sensitivities if they're any fasteners that can corrode. We've been through all that before, no point repeating myself. Rusty paper clips, rusty staples, remove them as per previous instructions and replace with brass paper clips. Here we see a couple of British standards, BSEN 16893, 2018, Conservation of Cultural Heritage Specifications for location, construction, and modification of buildings or rooms intended for the storage or use of heritage collections. I think you get quite a bit of useful information in there when you're deciding to convert a room into an archive. And BS 4971 2017, Conservation and the Care of Archive and Library Collections. A lot of valuable information in there. Again, though, I would tend to steer as well clear of interventive processes as you can. I think folding, unfolding, cleaning, inserting in polyester pockets is just about as interventive as an untrained person should get.